I really like this Hoodwink. It doesn't reveal anything about the laning stage. I'm actually feeling more confident about this Faceless Void being a 5, right? Because eventually you're
10
going to have that
seconds
Chronosphere,
remaining.
Sunstrike, or Cataclysm, whatever combination. It's just as effective
5
as,
seconds
you know,
remaining.
if you're a 1 or a 5, right? Sure, you can be doing more damage, but I feel like for the early game, it's the time
Vici
dilation that's
Gaming's
going to be the
turn to pick.
important thing for them to be focusing on. So it's good that they've picked up the Shadow Demon, you know, a little bit of a defensive capability, not even just against the Faceless Void Chrono combination, but also the Hoodwink, right? Bushwhack, 2.4 seconds when it's maxed out. Plenty of time to be able to set up for a Sunstrike, but if SD's in place, then
RNG's
he can look to
turn to
counter
pick.
that out.
Night Stalker.
And a Night Stalker instead, huh?
Very good pick.
Vici
They've got
Gaming's turn
what RNG
to
are gonna go
pick.
for? Sand King. So
Okay.
the reason why I like
So
the
it's all
Knights,
about pickoff, huh?
yeah. For sorry,
RNG.
they
For
can
both, actually.
they can definitely take team fights. So, but you're like Hoodwink, Sand King can enable the pickoffs,
RNG's
set up for the
turn to
Sunstrike, which is
Vici
nice. You know,
Gaming's turn to
we've seen a
ban.
couple of D-Stones Invoker's performances, and well, he's still had some really good games, even without the easiest way to set up for the Sunstrike. So now, I mean, we've seen what he can do without that. Now we're going to be able to see what he can do with those setups. So it's exciting to watch here for RNG. I do
10
really like though what
seconds
Vici
remaining.
have in regards to vision. You have all 4 heroes that can provide you vision.
5
Now Shadow Demon
seconds
is
remaining.
definitely not the greatest, but keep in mind it is at least the poison's nice to maybe find the Hoodwink in the tree line or something like that. But I think RNG heavily rely on trying to find the information before they start the fight. Like they need big
RNG's
chronos, you need
turn
big
to
burrow
ban.
strikes to set up for the Cataclysm, and Vici are going to have a
Vici
huge
Gaming's
information
turn to
advantage.
pick.
They are. Even just being able to use it for, you know, those wards on the high ground is nice with the SD. And it feels like Vici are kind of like, what's the phrase? Putting their bob 2 ways, I think is the phrase. Like
What?
they're wanting to get rid of these heroes that can be both the 1 and the 5 in the Gyrocopter, which technically can, and the Nag, which
5
technically
seconds
can as well.
remaining.
I still don't think they're sure of what this Faceless Void is. I'm still pretty confident that it's a 5.
RNG's turn to pick.
Drow Ranger.
Oh, that's an instant.
Instantly. Yep. Got it. Or it might be a 4. Yeah, that's a 5. Yep. I like it. I like it a lot. You know, you're having to use a lot of your save just to negate what a position 5 can do. Now you've got a way to get in onto the Shadow Demon, you've got a way to get on the Drow Ranger, and I feel like the time dilation is going to be incredibly effective against the TA in the super early game. Not just because of the damage over time that you're able to do, which is great against, of course, the refraction charges, but you're going to keep putting that refraction, the next set, on cooldown for a lot longer. You know, the time gets slowed down. So I feel like Red Panda, he's going to have a very good game. Probably only just putting, well, I think he has all the tools to
10
have a very
seconds
good game.
remaining.
Let's get that straight. But D-Stones, they got the setup for the
5 seconds
Sunstrikes.
remaining.
They got the setup with Chronosphere, with Bushwhack, with Sand King going into the Burrow Strike. They've got decent lanes. They've got the Spectre, which counters out the Drow Ranger and the Shadow Demon. I like everything about RNG's draft. Almost everything.
I reckon this is
still
going to
feel like Night
be
Stalker's good.
a 29-minute, 17-second GG call, and Vici are going to take this game.
What makes you think that? Is it another anti-range core that you like with the marksman?
It's so greedy. Like, where are you going to get the... You don't have the greatest way to go on the draw early. And, like, Vici are going to hit this huge 20-minute timing where they're going to take objectives, and they are not reliant on cooldowns at all. They can take an early Roshan, which is great against the lineup that RNG have because you're reliant on teamfight. You're relying on this Chrono into Cataclysm, into Epi, and Spectrehorn. And second lives are heavily countered. So teamfight ultis are heavily countered by second lives. You trade that for a life, you're good to go. You're ready to rock and roll. And I feel like for Vici, yes, they have ways to get on the draw as this game goes on. God King needs farm. He needs farm. Can he get to that stage of the question? How do you make plays in the early game as well? It feels like this is very reliant on your Sand King to have a super, super good lane. And I feel like he can. He really has to make a lot happen with this blink. Otherwise, though, Vici, I mean, this mid matchup's going to go well for them. Or he will get a lot of farm versus the Invoker. I think D-Stones still should have a good lane as well. I just feel like Vici are going to be able to run over this game with their vision, which can set up for the positioning, make sure they take whatever fight they want to. and don't allow RNG and don't give them that opportunity to get this big wombo combo.
But you were very confident in Vici in game number 2, and we saw how that turned out.
That's very true. I was. There's the ebb and flow in life. Sometimes you're wrong, sometimes you're right.
Sometimes you go Echo Saber on Darkseer.
Yes, sometimes the team I predict goes Echo Saber on Darkseer, and there's nothing I can do about it. But sometimes they also have a lane that goes like 1 and 4, and that's not what I expected. And fair enough. Like sometimes those happens, and you just have to accept the times you're wrong and just, take it in stride and head to the next game with confidence and say who's going to win. And I say, screw your prediction, Vici going to take it.
All right, I'm going to go with RNG again.
So you've got
I want to see how Red Panda does this as well. I want to see his skill build because, of course, as a position 5, you're going to be soaking up a decent amount of damage. You're against a Night Stalker, you're against a Shadow Demon, so they're going to be able to dish out a decent amount onto you. Don't think they're going to continue this, though, considering it's now daytime, of course. But yeah, I wonder if he might put just the 1 point into the time lock just to pray that that 12% is on his side, or if he's just going to go all in on the time walk and the time dilation.
What did he start with too on the Void? Okay, Orb of Venom, cool. Have you been seeing any position 5 Voids? Because I know Red Panda, I believe, attempted it on day 1 of the groups. Unfortunately, we weren't there to cast it, but have you got any little information on how popping Fairy Fire unnecessarily doesn't feel like...
All right, Red Panda.
So instead, I think I said 29 minutes, 17 seconds. I'm going to bump that up by a couple seconds now. Let's say 29 and 13.
All right, so that Fairy Fire was worth 4 seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Plus, what, 70... Well, I don't even remember the gold that is now. Yeah, 70 gold, 2 damage, a little bit of health. I reckon that's actually a lane completely over.
See, the thing is with Red Panda, I love a ton of his ideas, and I feel like this is one of them. That's a fantastic idea, but then he could just do things like that, where he just doesn't use his abilities, like when he was playing Brewmaster against an Omni Knight and he didn't remove the Guardian Angel, and just pops Fairy Fire for no reason at all. So like I said, not saying he will have a good game, but he has the tools to have a good game.
Well, we'll see how the tools are enabled. Do you feel like... So we've seen a lot of Night Stalker with this new trend on the hero, and it still feels like his early 5 minutes is relatively weak. Do you feel like a Spectre and a Faceless Void can penalize that early 5 minutes, or do you think Old 11 is going to get a little bit more out of the lane?
Not so. I think he's going to get just enough out of the lane. It seems like Red Panda is more intent on just blocking up a lot of what PYW is trying to do for the TA. When you play against Vici Gaming, if you don't know it by now, you're never going to. They are going to put a lot of emphasis on stacking up this jungle with their position 4. They do it every single time. They pick heroes that are going to enable that, whether it be the Coddle or the Shadow Demon or whoever else. And they just look to do it. And yeah, Red Panda's just following him around. And this is what you want with a Spectre, right? You said you wanted him to scale, you wanted him to be greedy. Night Stalker's not really going to punish him all that hard in the laning stage. Sure, you've got a good attack speed, attack damage advantage, but you're still going to get the experience that you need.
Dude, PY, are you watching this as well? This is...
The best way to play Faceless Void as the position 5 is to not lane. You just need to disrupt what they're trying to do.
No, you're gonna lose. No. Okay, he's got the... Wait, what's going on?
I don't know. I don't know why he didn't block up the hard camp, if I'm honest.
Dude, it's so... Oh, Felix top should fall. It's gonna be our first blood. Fairy Fire, not enough, as DY he's got his second level as well to utilize. So I'm in agreement that, like, Night Stalker's not going to pressure God King in the lane, but it means that Old 11 at least will have a solid laning phase. Like, you're going to get him to that level 5. It's really pick your poison. Do you want to slow down the TA, or do you want to slow the Night Stalker down, who's going to be the one that needs to put the tempo in the early game and then give space for Drow and TA? So it's... Which one would you want to die by? And, well, maybe they won't die by it at all.
He's just holding hands with POW. I'm surprised he's not spamming out the high fives throughout all of this. Going for the stack, but no, Red Panda
can he
says
block
no,
both?
thank you.
Yes, he can. Oh my god. All right, let's take a look at some other lanes where we got some opportunities right now. As How's Ori going? So it looks to be pretty even mid. In fact, D-Zones has got a little bit more denies, but I feel like once the levels pick up, especially around this stage, Ori should have a pretty good time. Top lane, we saw that kill previously. Do you feel like it's going to get any more difficult with this early kill being given over to Vici up top?
Not really. I mean, if anything, once you get more levels, it's going to enable the kill threat in onto DY. He's level 3 now, so they don't know what he's skilled up. In fact, it's nothing. But, you know, you're still going to potentially suffer from that Sunstrike combination coming out, and I can sense that that's what they're looking to go for up here. Or Yo-Yo goes too deep. He's going to be the one that they're targeting, although, Hoodwink.
It's just a round of the multi-shot with the Impale. A lot of damage here. DY's done a pretty good job to get his own experience. It looks like actually soaking because Poyo is level 3 as well. So this is...
And the kill helped.
Oh, very true, very true. Yes, of course, getting the kill experience off that one. Dude, Red Band. These heroes are both level 1. That is...
Yep.
So this is really going to come down to there's the kill up top. Just as I turn away, Poyo will fall down to the Sunstrike. I'm really intrigued to see where the priority will come through on what lanes are they going to find this experience to soak up, because both the supports will need it.
I mean, you're definitely going to give the tome through, right? But it's not... You've got the tools to have the Sunstrike combo early. You don't need the Chronosphere to be able to allow it to happen. I think... They've got a general idea of what the TA's timings are going to be, but you could probably add 2 minutes to that because of all the work that he's been able to do to block these stacks. Although... He's moved away a little bit here. Red Panda looking to try and move the lane a little bit further into the Radiant team's favor, considering it is just approaching that nighttime now. Is he going to be able to get off the pull? Yes, he is. Although Old 11, he senses it and stops it.
On top lane
Nicely
again.
done.
This time the Sunstrike not enough as Poyo just gets to safety.
Keep you safe.
But
I do like this. A lot of Sand Kings, they might play the same cookie cutter build. With Flyby, they'd be like, oh, I just put the 1 point in the Caustic Finale. I want to farm a little bit better. But if you do that, then the lane pushes forward, and then there's so much fewer potential for the Sunstrike combinations. Not just because they're close to their tower, but just look at, the tree coverage, right? As soon as you get past this narrow part of the lane, it's much harder for Felix to land that bushwhack.
Felix again? EY, nice timing on the Spike Carapace there, and Felix is going to try and have some of the creeps eat the multi-shot. You need this vision, and it will be provided thanks to the deep observe ward that's still in the lane here from Vici. So, second kill getting picked up. And
even though the actually using his TP to get back to the tier 1 from the River Rune is D-Stones. Even though the mana burn only burnt 16 from the Hoodwink, it was enough to make sure that the Drow could get the last hit, so still well worth it. I think they're looking to get a kill here onto Poyoyo, trying to go for a bit of a backstab, but not going to be in time, unfortunately. Yeah, it's much higher priority to level up this Burrow Strike. It's all about getting the pick off super early on.
This doesn't seem like the easier task.
Still damn good, though.
Red Panda? They don't have a level in Meld. See if that last side blade off the creep, or he won't find it, but that is just now your Faceless Void, who's probably going to make a trip back to the well. It's getting backstab though from Felix. They can tick out the refraction, and maybe the Sunstrike burst is going to be enough. He's got the Fairy Fire, which is enough. It is paired with the stick.
Now that's how you use the Fairy Fire to be able to save. And we saw there, they just very quickly dealt through the refraction charges with the Bushwhack. Again, this is another game where you've got so many ways to get rid of that TA refraction. You've got the Sandstorm, you've got the Bushwhack, you've got the time dilation. So until that BKB comes online for Ori, he's not going to have quite as much safety as he would previously.
All in all though, Red Panda did a very good job early to stop the stacks, but Ori still had, I think, a quad at the hard and what's looking like a triple at the Ancients now. So you can do your best, but this farm will still come.
Walks up towards the top side. They do have vision of that. So the nice deep observer ward be able to scout out everything in terms of the actions that they're trying to make happen. Drow, don't even know if you want to go into this. Does he have an early point in the Gust? No, not quite.
So I do have a bit of an issue with how they can protect towers on Vici. At least the early, probably tier 1 top. I mean, because Drow and TA both want to be farming up in the jungle. And yeah, they're going to catch out the Nyx Assassin. Well, DY can play around with some cute spell casting, but nonetheless, he will give the kill over to D-Stones, and this is kind of what I was just going to try and bring up. Like, Drow wants to be farming the jungle at an early stage, and TA as well wants to be at the try, so no one really has a way to defend top and kind of soak the experience without giving up a life. Not that it's really a big issue, but it could be difficult on how they hold the lanes in formation.
Tower is under attack.
Clever skilling up of the Scurry as well by Felix. He might still fall.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Try and get away as quickly as possible, staying running near those trees, forcing the Dark Ascension to be popped. So, I mean, he'll probably still go down, but it's not for nothing.
We'll get you.
So, kid in the board here for Old 11.
Yeah. That marksmanship with the ranged Agi core.
Okay. So, Drow?
16 Agi.
Man,
Drow was
Drow.
getting.
It's top of the net worth, in fact, and with all that farm that Ori had gotten from the Ancients, still all eyes on how they can continue to protect the jungle, because this is going to be the big thing. Like, I feel like Vici, it's 17 minutes, or maybe even a bit later, 20 minutes, once they are able to really group up and take these towers, and until then, I don't really see them getting too active.
So I wonder what God King's going to go in terms of his item build. I can see the Echo Saber, that's still pretty standard, and he might go like one other stats item, but I feel like this is a pretty decent Aghanim Scepter game. You know, you want to be able to try and quickly find out someone like the Shadow Demon, lock him into place, get the slowdown from your dagger, use that to combo together with the Sunstrike as well, and quickly burst him down before... Like, every single chance that you get to get a solo kill, I think you need to take it on RNG's side so that they're not quite as playing around these long cooldowns as they might normally be.
I'm pretty sure the last time we saw God King on the Spectre, he went like Treads and Yasha into Aghanims too, so he has shown that he doesn't hate the itemization. Of course, it's going to be game dependent. At least, still feels like it's quite the slowish game 3 here. I mean, we saw a very Vici gaming sided game 1, and then, you know, for game 2 it felt like it was very RNG sided, so at least it's not going to be the one-way stomp at the moment. But
Spectre's farm is not great though, it
yeah.
has to be said. Look at it, he's sitting a good 1500 behind everyone else. Yeah,
and I mean, compared to Radiant and Dire, they don't have an Ancient Clearer, which still, even though Dusar was, you know, Dusar, Luna, Terrorblade aren't the popular heroes, Ancients still yet to be nerfed, and, you know, we're seeing this is where the innovative, you know, Sven coming into the trend, and the Clinks as well, heroes that can still farm the Ancients, you know, feel incredibly strong. And well, for RNG at the moment, they don't have that capability, considering God King, yes, he's putting a lot more points in Dispersion, but he's not going for the Blade Mail build, which kind of opens up Ancients End for him.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that's not what they're prioritizing, which, you know, that's clearly the strategy. I don't think
God
it was
King's
just
really far out. He might have to haunt to safety. See if the chain lockdown's going to be perfect. Yeah, I mean, maybe to bot to get on the Drow, but I mean, the chain lockdown was perfect. They didn't give him an opportunity to get away at all, and even Ori coming over to claim the kill. And in fact, Vici, they want to look to get even more active as Old 11 just completes the Echo Saber, smoked up, looking to try and transition to mid as Red Panda and D-Stones are showing. This is a big kill if they can find the Invoker, and while leading the charge, they should be able to. The question is detection. That's instantly answered with a sentry drop. Meanwhile, off to the side, Faceless Void also eats a meld to the face, so a beautiful fast-paced movement from Vici Gaming, which should transition into a tier 1 tower mid as well.
I don't know what God King's doing up there, sitting next to a tier 2 tower on the enemy side of the map when he has no vision of what's going on. I get that you need to try and take attention away, but that's not the job of a Spectre. That's the job of something like a Hoodwink.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Well, D-Stones is... this game's all on blink on flyby. We have seen this position 3 on RNG, bring them out of some devastating positions. So Blink is one way for them to set up for extra pickoffs and enable a little bit of extra GPM on the D-Stone's Invoker, or set up the playmaking capability for a start to the fight. But at least they have it now. It's pretty early, 13 minutes in. See where they want to smoke up and head towards.
They clearly know the way that Vici Gaming like to play with their deep observer wards. Unfortunately, the two that were two sentries placed down by Red Panda, not going to be enough to get rid of the observer ward placed on the right side there on the staircase. But surprisingly enough, Red Panda, even though he got basically 0 XP out of the laning stage, he's already level 7. So that Chronosphere is available. You've got, of course, the Blink Dagger freshly picked up by Sand King, who's the target that they're looking to go for. TA would be a great one. Although, under the cover of Invis, they've got one sentry remaining.
Dire's middle tower
A long wraparound. As soon as smoke pops, Dire are going to catch the information. There's the blink reveal. PYW, they might not even take PYW. Is that line up for a two-man stun? And that might just shut up for the... Oh, no, he popped it early.
Oh, he was going to get body blocked by DY anyway.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Or maybe with multiple heroes nearby, they can take mid. They still have Chrono. And Dire without Glyph, and also looks like the rotations aren't coming through. So Vici Gaming seem to be happy with giving up the tier 1 without taking a fight.
Got to be careful about sticking down here for too long, though, God King. It's only 10 seconds or so away from that Dark Ascension. He might look to wait until he's level 12 before he pops it. Might have got a glimpse of Felix there. Bushwhack coming in. Meteor Hammer.
Old 11. Is it gonna Epi? Even Haunt committed. No messing around. They just want to try and put the Night Stalker in the grave with these couple of ultimates.
Well, they just wanted to use everything because they know that nighttime's coming, right? And there's no way that you're going to get a kill, or at least it's going to be so much harder to be able to pick one up in that time. So may as well get the spells on cooldown, get them running, and at least you're still going to have the Chronosphere to try and counter-initiate. I don't think if Vici Gaming look to make another aggressive play that they're going to look for a turnaround on RNG. I think it's just going to be a space-creating Chrono, and if they can get away from it with only losing maybe a support, I think they're going to take that as a win.
And RNG have to be happy as well with the leveling on D-Stones. Almost Aghanim's completed, and once he can continue to pick up more levels in Exort, more levels in Wex, then that damage will continue to ramp up as well for the setup that they have for the Chrono, for the Burrow Strike initiation, for the Sand King. So at least at the moment, RNG, yes, they're down 3,000 net worth. Do you feel like they're too worried about the slight disadvantage they have economically wise?
I mean, I'm not even sure if they're aware of it, the extent to which it's happened, because even though with all those stacks that Red Panda was able to stop, they still somehow managed to get a good amount of farm in onto the TA. It's a decent kill there onto the Hoodwink. I mean, she was walking around that Observer Ward, of course, that they weren't able to de-ward previously.
PYW's got Blink to jump God King right now. He's got to be really cautious. He's got some heroes to the northern side. They're converging on the area. Let's see if Red Panda can get in range for the beautiful Chrono just to maybe give God King some time to get out to safety. He's trying to line it up, but Vici Gaming are so aware. Look at how they're playing their distance away. But they're actually not going to continue on forward for more. So with how tanky Spectre showing at the moment, maybe they'll catch Felix in the backline though. Meanwhile, in the river though, PYW will get brought down from the Sunstrike. Vici, are they going to continue with the fight, however? Felix about to fall. He actually gets the Bushwhack, and now with the Chronosphere, sets up on 2. He can start up for the Sharpshooters. It's a massive charge up from Felix. It's not off to kill off the Night Stalker just yet. He's so incredibly tanky, and even Puyoyo looking to get involved as well. They already utilized this global prowess in the Sunstrike for the Shadow Demon kill, and it cost them now with the Night Stalker just living.
And D-Stones was all the way back in base. Midas off cooldown as well. He finished up the Aghanim Scepter, I suppose, so maybe that's what he was hoping that they could try and delay the Chronosphere for a little bit further for. Unfortunately not, though. That would have been a big turnaround to be able to kill the Night Stalker again and really hinder the disadvantage that you're at during this nighttime. 17 minutes, though. Let's see who gets on the lucky end of some of these neutral items, because it could be the sort of thing that turn things around in either team's favor. What can we look to expect? Maybe a Nether Shawl for our Invoker might be a nice little bonus.
Actually going to smoke up. So Chrono on cooldown.
They still got Cadome. They still got Blink Burrow Strike.
Yeah. So still...
Depends who you get. Look at PYW, though. He's following around Poyoyo constantly. So either, you know, Poyoyo is going to get saved and they're going to have the turnaround potential from the team, or the smoke's going to pop into PYW and they don't really care. He's already got his Blink Dagger. God damn, that's a farm Shadow Demon.
Oh boy. He's got
44s take note.
Oh yeah.
Like, stacks, give you money.
Odd 11 showing right now. DY might give them the information. You happy with that? That's even Cataclysm used. So...
Into Roach?
What's the cooldown again on Cata? Is it 70, 80? I don't remember.
90.
90, okay, yep. So the wrong guess. The classic. I love when you give out two options and it's just not neither of them.
It's like the best...
Yeah, they starting the fight, Flyby. Again, we saw how difficult it is to kill him off, but if PYW can get in range, he won't be able to as God King. Great targeting with the Horn. Is going to further push down this Shadow Demon. Now, Aura's near... Ooh. Okay.
Dagger, bro.
Cool boy.
He's let that off early a number of times as well. Like, he still had 2 potential seconds left on the channel there, so... I mean, it takes a lot of skill, but there is the potential to have that... What do we call it? A crossbow bolt? Like, inside the Shadow Demon as he comes out of the disruption.
Definitely feels... what's Poyo? Yeah, alright. So, Shadow Blade, it feels like they're in fighting shape. I mean, they've got a minute of nighttime left. EY again is going to pop the movement on Felix, but... I wonder what...
They got to just keep killing this Night Stalker. You know, as soon as he picks up that BKB, you suddenly don't have that chain lockdown potential, or you need to use the Chronosphere to be able to make it happen. And I don't think that's what they want to do.
Radiant structures are fortified.
So there is a bit of difficulty on Vici being able to take Roshan as well. So I like that they're targeting down this tier 2 bot. I mean, it's probably the easiest tower out of all to take at the moment here from Dire. It'll even open up more of the outposts, but this is a lane that they have to continuously shove out just to give them some opportunity to take Roshan. In fact, are Radiant thinking about it?
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
They are indeed.
Okay, let's see how fast...
Onto it. I mean, you got the Forge Spirit.
Dire see no one farming at all. They should be aware of this. It's not going to be the fastest Roche as well, but they're not coming over just yet. Never mind. They're smoked up. Red Panda should pop this. Roche about a third. They can bring it down. They're trying to give everything they can to God King to find it, but now with the Dark Ascension Vision, God King will claim the Aegis. So they have the second life for the team fight. A great Bow Strike as well, locking it too, but Radiant, they've used too many resources to kill off Roshan. They don't have enough to take the fight now. As 2 will fall and Ori and 11 chasing for more as well, as Red Panda's going to be the target. He just bought back. All he wanted was a massive chrono to turn it back in their favor, but it's going to be a dieback for him nonetheless. And now God King as well. Can they cancel the TP? No! This Aegis should be completely wasted now as God King. No way to escape. What a play from DY. Aegis Dawn and Second Life will soon join him in the grave as well as Vici Gaming. They just got there fast enough to contest the last remaining seconds.
Yeah, that was on God King, unfortunately. He had the good positioning, he had the haste rune for a lot of the teamfight maneuverability, but he just got so greedy. He had 3 people, very easy to catch them inside of the Chronosphere, but he just wanted to wait. He wanted the 4, the 5-man Chrono, and as a result, he got gusted, wasn't able to get any spells off, buys back, dies again, and the rest of his team just falls around him. I think that was... You don't always need the 5-man spells. Sometimes it's good enough to catch 3.
Bye-bye?
I see him.
Yeah.
He's sitting underneath that Tinker Ward.
Alright, well, this Nebworth lead continuing to accumulate for Vici Gaming. Up to 8k now. Experience is a big advantage, though. Almost about 14,000. And they're going to continue now to just choke him out of the map with this very early gem pick up here. They know these don't just pick up the Arcane. No way to jump. They're setting up for top lane, though. DY
Sunstrike
should be the pick off the life to claim. So you'll get any little kill across the map you can just to try and delay it and stall out this next couple of minutes here.
Remove the information as well. I mean, DY ends up going down there, but they've still got a ton of information. The deep wards placed down by PYW, realizing that no one's been farming inside the the Radiant jungle so that they know the Radiant are all sitting up towards the top side of the map.
Ori?
They can look to avoid it, which means that
BKB's coming out of the corridor.
Kind of sus.
Let's see if he can get it off fast enough. No, the Cataclysm. The burst will fly. The TP cancelled, and Old 11 will die as well.
You should have known they were there. Like, they've given you all the vision you could possibly need. Sand King, Hoodwink, they were up towards the top side. They hadn't shown to get on the map. You've got vision of the entrance to the Radiant jungle. So where else could they potentially be? They're not in your ancient camp. You were farming there.
Big couple of pickoffs to enable this tier 2 tower claim. Now Radiant have the opportunity to get a little bit more map control back in their favor, and also the time to get these next set of items. With Manta completed on God King, a Blink Dagger just completed on Felix as well, as the Hoodwink now takes over the King in regards to supports in the net worth. And we'll see his transition in some item progression as well. Potentially the Aghanims for the increased damage reduction.
He's going to Ghost Scepter on the Void. I don't hate it. This Nightstalker hasn't had the greatest of games, so he's not going to have a BKB for the next few minutes, let alone something like a Nullifier, right? So you're going to have a lot of safety for a long period of time. You don't really want to waste a disruption on it either, so it guarantees that extra little bit of safety for the rest of your team. After that, I wonder what he might look to go for. Is he going to try and be like a semi-carry in the later stages of the game? Or is it just going to be more about guaranteeing that you can get out of the Gust, get out of the Nightstalker abilities? So maybe something like a BKB could be next to come for Red Panda after he finishes this Ghost Scepter. We've seen the effectiveness of the POS 5 BKBs with that Bane game that we saw earlier today.
Very true, yeah. Yeah, that was a really cool itemization. Like, it always has felt like the Bane's, his biggest issue has been, like, your ultimate is pretty poopy, and you never really get big usages out of it. So I did like the BKB itemization in that game, and I wonder if we see more Bane as the playoffs continue. But for Vici, though, looking to try and bring themselves a little bit more momentum after that lost team fight here, or lost couple of kills, as Odd 11 leading the charge, the gem, and the capability of the Dark Ascension. So a lot of information as these stones that pop instantly jumping on forward. He doesn't have the BKB yet completed, and this is going to cost these stones his life. And now that's a lot of the RNG damage. Flyby, he's going to attempt his own TP out as well, but Old 11 just ripping him apart. This Nightstalker with the golden claws. Did they see God King? I think they saw God King. Yeah, they do. They see him with Dark Ascension. It's just Old 11 right now. They're going to TP to the outpost. Nixie's also hunting too.
If he haunts right now, then he can go in the mid lane, yeah.
Okay, Poyoyo split from the team. He's just going to try and tempt the TP out. Do they have a cancel chrono? The last second answer. PYW will continue to give him a little bit of space, but I think he'll fall regardless. As Vici Gaming, they tried to get cute for the pickoff on the Spectre, but it cost them as they separate away from a very valuable kill in Poyoyo.
Very nicely done, bringing him down just for the second time this game. So
one hit?
That's the sort of...
Two hit? Nah.
Oh, bloody DD.
Classic DD on a Templar Assassin. It's always just a guessing game if it's going to be a one or two hit on supports like the Hoodwink.
And it is what we were expecting as well. God King going for that Aghanim Scepter. I like it this game. I like it a lot. I feel like they're always needing to be able to... Continuing to go, though. Drow's still down for the next 10 seconds. I'm not sure if that's the wisest choice, considering, yeah, it's nighttime, but you don't want to run the risk without that Dark Ascension of losing the gem. It's not just the damage that you're giving up, but of course the no-clip, being able to just fly over everything.
Oh, DY again, man. I cannot stress enough. The Nyx Assassin with the vision you can provide, it is uncalculatable with how much it can affect the team, and just enables this pesky Squirrel to not keep the top lane shoved out. And now you've got this natural information that will come through once Old 11 pushes this creep wave in. It's going to make it that much easier to make the plays. And you were just saying before that you're liking the Aghanim's itemization for God King. What do you feel like is the reasoning why?
as soon as like it's going to depend on the vision from the supports, of course. Right now, Vici have that advantage because they've got the Gem of True Sight, so any kind of deep vision that they get up is just going to be immediately dewarded. But as soon as you've got it, if a support's just roaming around on their own, you can just get right on in there. Use the Spectral Dagger. Has he gone the? Okay, when he reaches level 20. Actually, I'm not sure if he's going to go for the slow bonus or the 400 health. Both are actually quite good this patch. Obviously, 400 health seems so hard to pass up, but I don't know. I feel like just being able to lock someone in place and quickly burst them down with the use of that Sunstrike could be enormous.
I have to ask as well, have you seen the Ag Shard in play?
I have seen it brought up like at the very end of games. I think it's quite good, personally, especially if you've... I think it is if you've itemized, if you've talented into it as well.
All right, sell me on it. Sell me on it. Let's go. Let's hear it. Sell me and everyone else, because I reckon this is horrific.
Every 300 damage absorbed in the direction can fire a dagger every 7 seconds. So let's say he'll have, I don't know, 3,000 HP by the time he looks to pick it up. So you're firing off 10 different spectral daggers that are going to be dealing 340 damage and potentially slowing for, what's the extra bonus that you get on that? So for 36% every 7 seconds in a team fight. And you don't have to do anything. It's just a passive. That seems pretty strong to me.
The issue is the 300 absorb is like 1,200 damage. Like, it's absorbed damage. It's not just 300 flat. So it'd be nice.
It feels like a luxury item. It's not like a high priority, but I still think for the late game it can be pretty good of just providing that. Like if a team fight gets long and those BKBs start to get low, the extra slow that you can have guaranteed in a team fight is pretty damn effective.
You know what's even worse for me is that the dagger's not targeted. You can sidestep the dagger. It's just a ground placement.
It's just in the direction, you know, roughly over there.
Over there.
Going on here.
It's over Sand King. Is a lot of distance.
They were going for God King, but he just got out in time.
Luckily enough for him, he's working towards a decent time with the ice. He looking for the last component now. 800 gold to Mr. God King Feeder. He's able to pick this up. Seems like he has a lot of value on the Aghanims in general with how he likes to play the Spectre. Like we were bringing up before, it was the Treads earn Yasha Aghanims on his previous Spectre game that we saw. This time a little bit different, but still seems pretty similar. And if you remember that game too, that was like, they were well and truly out of that. And somehow RNG were able to come back out of nothing.
Mm-hmm. Some valuable neutral items coming out as well. The Psychic Headband picked up by, I want to say, Sand King's got it coming out to him. Not Hoodwink. So perfectly viable for that one as well. Quickening Charm now for the Invoker. Nearly reaching level 18 with that Midas on cooldown. Don't kill the range creep. Never mind.
Duh, that's where the pings come through.
Massive bonus, massive bonus.
Oh, they're even smoking without... Oh. The efficiency, it's hurting. There's people out there, they're actually just losing their mind. They're seeing this and they're getting triggered. Oh, flyby.
11.
I got a really good ward in this place. That is not a high ground you want to opt up to, and instantly RNG are able to recognize this. Like, yeah, no chance we're going to take this fight. Let's reset.
And you saw how heavy the priority was on killing the Night Stalker in the early stages of the game, but it feels so much harder now. You know, 2300 HP, Cloak of Flames, BKB, all the armor that he's been able to get from the phase boots, excuse me, as well. And then, of course, the Blink Dagger. You know, you're just able to create a lot of space out with the use of that Dark Ascension and, you know, get the Blink away or in onto the backlines. Who really cares? Oh, and look at that. Double damage outside Roche.
Old 11 needs to be scouting, which he can easily with nighttime. It's only...
they got the Aghanims on the Spectre. They scouted this out, though. Felix, he's going to need to fire the trigger, and they do, but it's a little late.
Oh, they got the bash. One's going to fly as well. Let's see what the disruption will cost them. Chrono's a little bit too late, so the Cataclysm completely wasted. And now Vici, they have to be able to feel so content with take the fight, knowing these big ultimates are now on cooldown. As they're trying to target through God King, he's trying to jaunt away, but it's not successful. And now without the Spectre, I don't think they can stick around on RNG. As they'll target Red Panda next. They just have to get out of dodge. I mean, Felix is stuck inside. Oh, I say that. Nice blink timing, but still they can hunt. Night Stalker with the Dark Ascension. He scouted out the Skrill. There's no escape for him. Often you can be such a nuisance, diving, ducking, and dodging through the tree line, but not this stage.
See, the sad thing for Felix is, I don't think that the TA even knew that the Squirrel was in there. She was just going back in to pick up her Wraith Band, which she dropped on the ground to be able to pick up that Aegis there. So an unfortunate death, but yeah, you talk about this big timing. I mean, the Pos 5 Void, he hit a decent Chronosphere, but the timing with the Cataclysm wasn't there. PYW, he was able to be sitting pretty deep, so he wasn't able to get the Blink Dagger off, of course, because the Haunt disrupting that, but just getting in time to be able to land the disruption with the use of the Spider Legs. He again turns the team fight around almost entirely on his own.
It's just unfortunate that we didn't see the Chrono with the Cataclysm. They used it a little bit too early.
Yep.
Gonna use the Shadow Scepter on DY, but where's the detection? It's out at the last second. Man, that is quite the three-man stun. And PYW is just going to jump in instantly. Turn to deal with God King with the Purge. Now Red Panda's the next objective on the line. They even get the banishment to cancel the TP. So God King, we look to start the fight, but the fight's going to end with the Spectre. As, well, they were happy with getting a kill nonetheless on RNG, but it cost them the instant answer of all of Vici Gaming show up out of nowhere, and even the Screw will fall once again.
Listen for the wing.
Do these TA traps really need to do damage?
Do they
really?
Does the Ag Shard really need to give you a silence, bonus, vision, and 4 extra count traps? And no, I don't think so.
I mean, I feel like the shard is balanced if it just doesn't do damage, you know? Like, you're not able to keep waves shoved out without being there. You've got the synergy with the projection. The silence to stay is fine because you actually need to itemize into it. And the slow is very good for catching up in these fights as well as, you know, again, just vision. Roche is already such a key component of TA's toolkit. And this is just a vision Dark Ascension, it seems.
That was with Arcane, so at least it doesn't feel like a huge waste. Should just enable them to take this.
They're so scared. They're having to play well away from these tree lines because they know exactly where they are with the use of this Deep Observer Ward. They haven't been able to get any kind of D-wards off.
Oh, we charge up the Epicenter. Cataclysm to fly. Banishment's on the wrong target, but again, he was able to get the BKB before the Chronosphere. Meanwhile, old 11, what a target! He found the Invoker, disrupted the damage inside the Chronosphere. The buybacks are coming through galore. Maybe God King's enough to deal with the pesky PYW, which he will be able to do so. Now they'll turn to kill off this Night Stalker as well. Is PYW still alive?
Yep.
What? Oh my, I mean, you buy back on D-Stones, you buy back on the Faceless Void. They're just... We're not seeing these team fights come together for RNG. There has not been a Chrono where the Invoker has been able to use the Cataclysm and the Meatball follow-up. That fight, especially because of the Night Stalker instantly jumping D-Stones.
And Ori, during the Chronosphere, was able to pop the BKB as well. So some of the magic damage that was coming in was ineffective. Didn't have the Aegis, of course, but only survived on about 20% HP. So that was really a kill gone missing that RNG could have potentially picked up. Still, though, it shows, like, even though they're pushed back into their base, even though they're at a 14k net worth disadvantage, they do, if everything goes right, have the ability to come back into this game.
Yes, they do have ways to get on the Drow Ranger, especially, I mean, God King's gone into multiple avenues with the Ags and, of course, the Haunt. The Faceless Void is going to have Blink Dagger soon, so that will further enable how Red Panda can find a route in. And I mean, you've already got Flyby with the Blink capability. D-Stones could get to a stage where he might even be able to go for a Blink if they feel like they really are lacking ways to get on the Drow. So there are ways, there definitely are ways. The only issue is we're not seeing RNG execute, and it doesn't give you much confidence with how these fights aren't going as well as what you'd be hoping for them.
Yeah, for sure. And, I mean, Red Panda, he's going for a Blink Dagger. Again, I'm not sure how useful that's going to be, right? Like, the Time Walk, it feels like it's enough. I just feel like as soon as the Night Stalker is getting onto him every time, he feels useless. And, you know, with the amount of farm that they've been able to pick up, he's going into the Abyssal Blade, so it's just going to be even more so. He can just still remain on top of him with that 7-second duration of the silence with the Crippling Fear. You get the chain lockdown, of course, with the Abyssal Blade after that. And then again, Avoid has just done nothing in the entire team fight.
And I think it's going to get more difficult for how they can play these fights for RNG once the Aghanims... PYW's actually switched up. He did have Hags queued up. I think he just completed Lotus. Did he have that recently? I swear he just completed it.
Yeah, I think he did just quite recently.
So... I was gonna highlight the Aghanims, which we will still bring up. I mean, it's great versus the Spectre with the break capability. So if it gets ultra late, I think anyway there has to be a lot of priority on getting the Shadow Demon at the start or in the chrono, because you are completely disrupting, what, 2.75 seconds of the chronosphere. And you kind of need to have the Faceless Void as well to use that. So down for 70 seconds.
Trying to do a little bit of rat
rat
pushing towards this top side of the map. You've got the double siege creep wave. Flyby, I think he's going to stick around to try and push this this next wave in with the use of those Forge Spirits as well. They're going to try and defend against it, but I don't know. Is he for a potential pickoff here?
They just got Abyssal Blade on Odd 11.
Yeah, PYW's coming in for the back line.
Oh, they found him. That's a massive target. D-Stone's brought back previously. They need to try and protect the Invoker right now. Save the Invoker. That's the only opportunity they have to keep this game. His Invoker's down. 100 seconds on the deck. They're going to try and fly back to safety here on the Night Stalker. Old 11 still has compromised his position with how deep he's dived, but maybe not once again. It's always the Vici Gaming supports time and time again. It's DY able to bring it back to safety, and PYW finds the banishment on Felix. They're trying to look for an escape, but Old 11, he's going to see Flyby right now. It doesn't even matter. Let's target down the rest. They'll kill off the Hoodwink. They're still going pretty deep instead of getting the objectives.
Step used, but instantly dealt with, and I mean, sometimes luck just isn't smiling on you. The first hit bash coming through, and then I think it was actually like 2 bashes in a row followed into an Abyssal Blade. It's just
Sanking jump again. Ori just instant BKB, no messing around. They want to try and call it quits here, as with 3 down, not having a buyback. RNG have no way to defend their base, and Vici, well, it wasn't the 29 minutes in like I was expecting, but it is 37 minutes it takes them to close out the series.
We just didn't see anywhere near enough of the Faceless Void's impact for mine. Like, I'll say it again. He had the tools to make everything a reality. You know, all you needed to do was, in the early game, disrupt the TA. I don't know why he went away from blocking those stacks. Like, the Spectre wasn't having an amazing time in the lane, but he didn't even go back to the lane. He was trying to, like, contest water runes that weren't really that important for how the lane was going, and it just gave the avenue for the TA to come back into the game. We saw there just little things, right? Using the Fairy Fire before the horn had even sounded meant that he wasn't able to trade against the Shadow Demon quite as easy. The itemization, I think the Ghost Scepter was fine, but the Blink Dagger ended up being, like I was kind of thinking before, completely useless. Night Stalker just standed on top of him, forces a buyback. Even after the second life, didn't get to use the Chronosphere. So nothing came together, and kind of felt towards the end there that D-Stones had a bit of a rage DC. He was, by a fair margin, the first one out of the game, and I can kind of understand why. It just didn't feel like they played to their plan at all.
Feels like it's always the story of whatever Vici Gaming roster there is, whatever iteration, you know, whether it's, you know, this time PYW and DY, whether it was Fade previously when he was on the boys, but we are seeing these two supports have way too much impact. It's actually a ridiculous amount. It doesn't even matter what hero it is. You know, we've always been harping on the Keeper of the Light and Disruptor when they get that pairing, and this time the Shadow Demon and Nyx Assassin was just equally as good. I mean, the ways that DY was able to, you know, scout out maybe PYW to help with the banishment save, or get the purge at the perfect timing, and just have that X factor of not getting bursted down. And unfortunately, we really just didn't see the team fight cohesion come through with what we were requiring of the RNG lineup here.
I think the key thing for mine that sets the Vici Gaming supports apart, obviously PYW, he stacks a lot, right? That's base level. That's very easy to see. But it's the quick reaction times for me. They're always really quick to be the ones. They're the ones pinging on the map to call, oh, we just killed God King. Smoke right now. Let's go and kill the rest of the team and look to convert that into a Roshan, as well as just in the team fights. DY, the amount of times that we've seen on his heroes, whether it be the Omni Knight or the Disruptor, and now the Nyx Assassin, able to land multi-hero abilities, a triple impale when he's getting gone on in a really disadvantageous situation, and completely turn the team fight around. Sure, he dies, but 3 people die for him. You know, it's the sort of plays that you love to have on a support when you're playing a core. You know, self-sacrificial, but not feeding your life away. And I love it. Vici Gaming looking very strong as they move forward to the next round of the upper bracket, guaranteeing themselves top 3. They're now in the upper bracket final against Team Asta. And that means that tomorrow we have Invictus Gaming taking on Team Magma, and then Elephant taking on RNG.
Maybe. We still are not 100% certain on the schedule, which sounds kind of weird, but it may be tomorrow, it may be in a couple of days that the playoffs continue. Great. So we will have to, if you guys want to stay up to date, then of course the Beyond the Summit Twitter will let you guys know more than likely, or just the Liquipedia page, which isn't up to date yet, but I imagine it will be very soon. So either tomorrow or I believe September 2nd when the playoffs will be recommencing. But for our first 2 rounds, we haven't seen any teams eliminated from the playoffs. Of course, unfortunately, Asta Aries weren't able to get a stint in here at the moment, but we still have 7 teams looking to battle it out at the moment, and it's going to be exciting to see how that's able to continue. 16. So we're exciting to see how that's able to battle it out once the days continue to get lower and lower here for the I-League Season 2. But in regards to today, we saw Team Asset 2-1 Invictus Gaming, and we just saw Vici Gaming 2-1 RNG as well. So for us, that's going to be it for us tonight. We'll see you guys next time for more playoff action for the Imba TV I-League Season 2.